Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Will Leggetter.
And today we are joined by not one, but two special return guests. We'll start alphabetically. So I don't know where she is for everybody else, but she's on my bottom right. Alice, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thank you. How exciting.
Yes. And following directly in the alphabet, Becky.
Yes.
Hi. Back again for another episode.
We can't get rid of you. Today we're talking about 1997's Titanic.
Titanic was called the ship of dreams, and it was. It really was.
All right, open your eyes.
We go full ahead! Put your backs into it!
Got everything I need right here with me. I figure life's a gift, and I don't intend on wasting it. You never know what hand you're gonna get dealt next. You learn to take life as it comes at you.
When the ship docks, I'm getting off with you.
Which lands on Becky's top 10 at number 7 and comes at 9 on mine.
God almighty.
This is it! Hold on! Do not let go of my hand!
I'll never let go.
And
I almost took it off. Like,
so did I.
before I watched it, like yesterday, I was thinking, is it really a top 10 contender? But I've kind of re-evaluated, and I agree. It's still at 7 for me.
Well, for the longest time, I had it at 3. It was my up until a certain point, and then I started watching a lot more films. And I think it's and so there was a period of time where it wasn't even on the top 20, but I was lying to myself because every time I put that disc in and we start up again with the sepia tone, and I'm in that world, and you've got me for 3 hours 14. It was the last week before lockdown. I made a big get together at wonderful Sinead, one of my friends in Londinion, that there London, and it was like, oh well, yeah, we'll have a Sunday film. There's Titanic. Yeah, we'll watch Titanic. And I think it was an hour in, and they said, Tom, you need to stop saying the lines. And then it got to a certain point near the which we'll get to in 10-minute stretch, where I was like, this is the best shot in the film. This is the best minute in the film. Actually, a precursor to the show. Yeah, and because the amount of times I watched this film as a child was obscene. I used to have the VHS, which was 2, and so I would usually just watch, because you had to obviously rewind all the way, so I would usually just rewind to them getting out of the car and it being and the sinking, because I do think this film hits its stride when it hits the berg. Not Krista Berg, Lady in Red. Great track, Lady in Red. Will, what's your stance on Titanic? I don't think we have ever talked about Titanic before.
Have we not? I love Titanic. I'm always there whenever it's re-released in cinemas. I always go.
We cannot avoid that until this film was released, this was supposed to be the biggest box office. This was supposed to be the biggest failure of all time.
Really?
Didn't you know?
No.
No. Yeah. So skyrocketing budget. Obviously, it got to a point where the studio basically had to weigh up: are we going to start cutting corners, or are we just going to dump more money into it and make it as good as we can? And they did that. Good, thank God. And basically, the film, it was, James Cameron is a mess or whatever. There was lots of articles about improper safety, which was completely false. I mean, sure, James Cameron run the set like Himmler, but safety was a distinct priority. Suddenly, pardon the pun, the tide turned. People started seeing the film. The critics, the reviews started coming in. The Oscars started coming in. People started going more and watching it over and over and over again. Its biggest day, profit-wise, was Valentine's Day of 98, and the film had already been out for 5 months. I mean, it's a bit, you could say it's crude and insensitive to call it an action film, but it is such a masterpiece of action, tension, tragedy. And yeah, you've got that beautiful hour of setup, which you need, obviously. And I think, your key, people always say it's corny. That corniness is lost once the berg hits. The only corny moment after the berg hits is, for me, is Rose going, oh, Jack, look, this is where we first met. And and that's corny, but that's out of complete fear. And Jack doesn't go, oh, I love you too, baby. He kisses her so hard and pulls her in, and it pulls his cheek. And he holds her so tight that corniness is gone straight away because it's out of fear. I adore this film. This will come clear. But that moment is undercut immediately, and he just pulls her so tight. It's wonderful.
A real man makes his own luck, Archie. Right, Dawson?
And you find that sort of rootless existence appealing, do you?
Well, yes, ma'am, I do. I mean, got everything I need right here with me. Got air in my lungs and a few blank sheets of paper. I mean, I love waking up in the morning not knowing what's gonna happen or who I'm gonna meet, where I'm gonna wind up. Just the other night, I was sleeping under a bridge, and now here I am on the grandest ship in the world having champagne with you fine people. I'll take some of that.
A good stretch was from the minute that they get Rose on the lifeboat and then she yeets herself off. And that whole sequence when they're running to each other. My little stone cold heart, it just warms, it thaws itself a little bit. And I'm like, oh. I thoroughly enjoyed that bit. I had another one as well. Oh yeah, when they're running away from Lovejoy. Yes. Really enjoyed that sequence, how joyful it was. Yeah.
I think is he a cop or something? I think that he was. Marvelous. Becky? Any new nominations?
Yes.
Ooh.
There's a very specific bit, and it goes all the way, I think this is about 10 minutes. It's from when, when Jack like grabs someone else's jacket, puts it on, and then like pulls Rose off to the side.
Pulls her to the gym.
There's an almost kiss, and also the moment when she does the like triangle eye thing where she goes from like each of his eyes down to his lips, and you can see her eyes flicking around like, kiss me, and then it just doesn't happen, and you're like,
and then she sees the little girl. And then then it goes into the like the sort of flying on the front, the first kiss, and then through to the like draw me like one of your French girls. That whole we're taking. Oh no, that's a different 10 minutes. I'll give you burgeoning love as a 10-minute stretch.
Okay.
but painting into sex. Here's a little.
It's a drawing. It's a completely different artistic style.
There
is no painting whatsoever in this movie, Tom.
I'll have you know that there's
one
a
of your
few
French
paintings.
girls isn't a line.
I'll have you know there's a few paintings by something Picasso. They'll never amount to a thing. And then Leo, man of the world. Oh, Monet. I love him. Look at his brushstrokes.
Look at the
Brilliant.
colours. I was literally,
I mean, that was my main one. The other one is just when they were actually in the water, all the way through from like the holding hands bit through to the like, don't let go, and then Jack.
Bring the boats back. Bring the boats back. Jack. I'm famed. I am famed in mixed company for my impression of the breathless. Can I have lots of babies, Rose? I don't know about you, but I'm going to be writing a very strongly worded letter to the White Star Line after all this.
I've got 3 nominees. The first 10 minutes from playing cards, winning, and then going onto the boat and all the engines starting up and the music and the propellers and your whoosh. Lovely.
Look at us,
lovely
Mr.
start.
Murdoch.
What's the engineer likes that bit?
I do. I love pulleys. Stairs
You know what
into
to get
dinner.
in for Christmas, Becky?
A gear.
Titanic.
A scale model. Whole dinner scene. I like that.
I saw it on a Nickelodeon once.
I've always wanted. Great. And then the band playing the violins into it, going down.
That's my special note at the end. It's just that string quartet. Oh.
Which is expertly parodied in the opening of the Simpsons movie with Green Day on the barge that sinks in the pollution-infested water. Great.
That brought back a memory I didn't know I had. I forgot I'd even seen that film. Wow.
I'm famed for obscure references that bring back many fond memories.
Michelle Pfeiffer, when she sees the woman in the red dress and she remembers that she saw Harrison Ford in One Lies Beneath. Okay, I've got final stern sink. So from saying goodbye to Mr. Andrews onward to the final, the jump back on into the chase by Billy Zane is the best evidence. You're so stupid, Rose. You're so stupid. Oh, you're so stupid, Rose. And it's this is another thing. I think Leo genuinely brings a real realism to it. You know, sure, there's the corny stuff in the first hour, but there is nothing but stakes in that. You know, it's really kissing. It's not. You know, they don't run to each other and. Mwah. I mean, it'd be a bad film if it were. But it's like that messy. It's that messy. You know, they get. You know.
It's a bit good, isn't it? It's a bit good.
And even the, you know, Kate Winslet going, you jump, I jump. Again, maybe that's a corny line in a different film. But the way that Leo just grabs her towards her, again, he saves it.
Who's your favourite Lovejoy? This or Ian McShane?
I think he'd have to be David Warner. I think this is my favourite David Warner. It's not my favourite Ian McShane. Or is it my favourite David Warner? Because he's very good in Inside Number 9.
He's very good in Inside Number 9.
Yes. I've got two. The first one is the Third Class Party. So like, everyone just like dancing on tables. It's such like a joyful moment, and you're like, you can really feel her like, loosening up. It's just great moments.
So you think you're all big men?
Yeah. Oh, we'll come round to the whole going up on point thing, but yeah, it was the little things in that scene, like the little girl,
Cora.
She's really
Her
sad,
name's Cora.
and then like Jack pulling her closer, and you got the shot of like her or him like wrapping his arm around her and like pulling her in, and then the footwork on the table when they're doing it's like not quite tap dance, but like some kind of weird footwork stuff.
The pan down to Leo's it's great. Also, another little great throwaway gag, the guy who gets thrown into the drinks and then he's like, yeah.
It's like me on every night out.
I love it.
I've got the bit where they draw me like one of your French girls. He's very cheeky, and she says, "I believe you're blushing, Mr. Big Artiste. I can't imagine Monsieur Monet blushing." He goes, "He does landscapes." It's very Jack. You silly
dog. I love also that she keeps saying comments, and that's the only one that he passes off as a joke, and he says something back. The other times he's like, "Stop moving."
Just wait till we get to my change as an artist myself. Stay still. Okay. I'm the king of the world. Classic.
The ones that stood out to me that weren't so like standard were you must have had a love affair with her. No, just with her hands. I like that. That's quite good.
No, just with her hands. He's very adamant. And then he doubles down. She was a one-legged prostitute. Look, and then I don't know what sketch he's showing her, but she goes,
It's the bad hand.
Yeah.
I liked teach me to ride like a man and chew tobacco like a man and spit like a man, and then goes this weird accent, and it's just a great moment.
And then she does learn to ride side saddle at the end. She's got a picture on the horse.
Full of time! Hard over! Hold that over, sir! Go, lads, go!
Oh, yes, but Alice's terrible line con.
Yeah. First one I noted down was I didn't get the exact line, but in response, Rose says, "I know what ice fishing is," and I was like, Jack, this woman is about to commit suicide, and you are mansplaining to her what ice fishing is. She does not need this right now. She's going to yeet herself off if you carry on talking about fucking ice fishing.
Take a mind off it.
Nah,
he was quite cocky in that moment.
It was top level mansplaining. But
I don't know why you've gone for that one and not you would have done it already. Surely that's the worst thing he says at that scene. I don't think it's the ice.
Oh yeah,
comment.
yeah.
I think it's you would have done it already.
I don't know. I get that, but I also feel like I can see how that was going to help in this situation, and I almost feel like it was just subtle mansplaining that, like, even when writing the script, they wouldn't have thought of it as mansplaining. So now I'm like, anyway. When Jack is freezing to death and Rose says, "I'm so cold," that is really not fucking helpful right now, Rose, because he's in the water right now.
Yeah,
okay,
I thought
shut
that.
up.
He should have done a sarcastic comment. He should have done a sarcastic Jack comment and gone,
"Well, it's rather warm down here."
Oh, really? Oh, really?
I've also got the obvious, as we've already said, it was the most erotic moment of my life.
Oh, no, that's not a bad line.
Oh, it's an awful line. And then, because you're watching it, and she says that, and everyone's suddenly coming out of the film and looking at each other and going, oh. Anyway, and then, obviously, old Rose's at the end there is awful. And then, controversially, I'm still not sold on "I'm Flying Jack."
Oh.
It just doesn't land for me. Like I said, I don't like romance films, so that just tipped the cringe scale a little too much for me, that one person.
I think it's more so Kate Winslet's performance, because I think the first time she says I'm flying, it's like she's a small child. She goes, I'm flying! I think that as it continues and they start kissing and it's beautiful, I think it becomes, but it should be more like, I feel like I'm flying. That's what it should be. There you go.
Yes.
It should be,
I'd be
I feel like I'm flying. No, because then James Cameron won't be able to resist Leo going, I feel the same way. He just wouldn't be able to resist. This will be romantic. Control, save.
This is a weirdly specific bit in that moment. I really love that there's the shot of their hands like slowly interlinking, and they're like kind of, because it's so true. Like that's kind of what happens in an early relationship when you're kind of like scared to hold hands, but you just kind of brush, and then eventually you lock hands and you're like, oh.
It's not as good as I think it's better done in La La Land with the creeping hand. I think that's the best.
Yeah.
The most realistic and best.
Well, La La Land is the best film. So.
What's the change? Okay, here we go. As alluded to earlier, when your film's already 3 hours 14, just make it 4. Like I watch all of the deleted scenes, and I'm just like, right. There's a few that I'm like, sure, you do not needed, but like basically what they did was all the deleted scenes during the syncing, just put them back in. But they wanted to make it streamlined and for the romance, which I understand, and it makes sense, and it's maybe a better film because of it. But
I mean, I think they. Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
I was just going to say,
put them in.
Oh yeah. Well, they marketed it to cinemas as saying it was 2 hours and 74 minutes long, so that people didn't think it was going to be a 3-hour film.
That's quite
so
good.
I think if you're pushing it to 4, then you're really pushing the boundary of what people would go and see at the cinema then. So I understand
Just
it.
put an intermission in like Gone with the Wind. You've got a built-in intermission where it's like where it fades back to Old Rose.
My changes?
Yes, Becky.
Well, it's basically just the synthy voice thing that I said earlier. I want to talk about that point work thing because it's just.
What point work thing? Sorry.
When she goes up on her toes.
Oh yes.
The third class.
It's the ballet.
I don't like it.
Why?
I just don't. It's.
Can you do that without point shoes?
You can, but it's not. I mean, like the whole point of going like also her toes aren't like ballet toes. If she had like sort of 2 or 3 the same height, then it's a lot easier to do that. But her toes are like mine. Like the biggest toe is the only toe that you're resting on when you do that. It's virtually impossible to like get up there unless you've got extreme strength in just your big toe. I do like that she's like, you know, she's making a point of this being painful and guys will never have to like do like point work in ballet or anything. But it just it's kind of unnecessary, and I don't like it. I don't like the way it's done.
They do have the throwaway line about her used to being an actress.
Yeah, no, like it's clear that she's done ballet. I mean, like that's kind of a thing that like the first
class
have done in those days as well. But it's just
they could throw like
the way it's done.
They could throw a Rocky-esque training montage in the beginning to justify why she has such powerful legs that she can stand on her feet like that.
And also, she's a bit pissed. So mind over matter, you know. Strength.
I wouldn't be able to stand up, let alone stand on my feet if I had a train.
And it's still not as impressive as Leo's. What's left from Will's notes?
The Freud conversation. When she just shuts him down and leaves, like the very first mic drop.
Have you heard about Mr. Freud's essays on the male preoccupation with size? Maybe of interest.
But then, also, that shows how well written this scene is. that's the punchline. And then you think, well, okay. But then at the end, he's like, Freud, who's it? Is he a passenger? Love it. It's great. It's
just another wonderful little Mr. Andrews bit of, Lucy dear, set an example. Lovely. Alternate ending corner. Here we go. The best, the worst alternate ending of all time. I'll break it down for you. So we open with Brock Lovett, as we see in the film, throwing away his cigar. And then we see Rose clambering out.
Oh my God.
Jesus!
Don't know why she didn't put any slippers on. It must be very cold out there, but anyway. And then granddaughter sees her. Oh my God, look over there. Run, 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 run. Don't come any closer.
Don't come any closer. I'll drop it.
I showed this afterwards at the Sinead party, and people thought it was a sketch. People thought, how did they get all the actors back for this sketch? They thought it was like Saturday Night Live. And I said, no, this is a real thing that was filmed. And then, you had it the whole time?
You had it the entire time?
And every single line that somebody says to Rose Stewart, Rose, played by Gloria Stewart, she just goes, like a villain. It's like a Disney villain.
The hardest part about being so poor was being so rich. But every time I thought about selling it, I thought of Cal. And somehow I made it without his help.
And then, look, I don't know what to say to a woman who tries to jump off the Titanic when it's not sinking and tries to jump off when it is.
Holy shit. Look, Rose, I don't know what to say to a woman who tries to jump off the Titanic when it's not sinking and then jumps back on when it is.
Can I just hold it one time?
I've thought about this for years. And I've come all the way here to put it back where it belongs.
Wait. Just let me hold it in my hand.
And then she gives him the message of the film.
You look for treasure in the wrong place, Mr. Lovett. Only life is priceless. And making each day count.
Only life is priceless, Mr. Lovett. And then again, she says this is the best part of it. She does the exact same noise.
Jesus, no!
This is why I was saving talking about it, because I can't get my head around. This was a very specific thing, and it's a different shot. It's not that
Was she told to do it?
I don't know. There's nothing on the commentary.
Did she decide to do it? Was she told to do it? Because
it feels like the thing that it feels like this was in her contract, that she will only do the film. And she does it the exact same way. And then Bodine. That really sucks, lady!
That really sucks, lady!
And then just when you think it can't get any worse.
Very funny! That's just great!
Brock starts laughing and he goes up to the gods. Full Shawshank shot. Just when you think it can't get any worse, he turns to the granddaughter.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna call my wife and tell her, sorry, honey. Would you like to dance?
Would you like a dance? Where are they going to dance? Where are they dancing? And then Rose is happy. She looks up, shooting star, and then we're back to. So do we think that? So do we think that the ending of the film is better?
Yeah, I like that. Like it ends with nobody really knowing, because otherwise it's just bitter, and you don't want to end a film that amazing on like a bitter note where someone's like, "Oh, you should have given it to me."
So you're saying that the film wouldn't be better with a villainesque monologue where Rose describes how all of my life it was so hard being so poor, knowing I was so rich. But every time there you go, that's a bit of feminism, where she goes, but every time I thought of selling it, I thought I did it on my own and I didn't need Cal. She's a nice sentiment. And then she goes, this is why I've come out here, to put it back where it belongs. And he turns into a full-blown villain.
My main issue with her throwing it as well is that by her throwing it in the water, they're just going to come back and look for it again, aren't they? If they're really
in the alternate ending.
Now they've got it.
Ending. Yeah. Alice, any final thoughts on Titanic?
Oh, this is a glorious moment. That when old Rose is being brought onto the ship from the helicopter, the fact that she has a very small dog in her coat that we never see again, I thought was just glorious that it just existed for that one shot.
The fishbowl?
Yes, the goldfish as well.
Oh, God.
She doesn't pack very light, does she? He's screaming over the helicopter.
I mean, I can't not mention it purely because I never realised until I watched it this morning that the guy's name is Brock Lovett, and I'm literally unable to not bring anything back to Sweeney Todd ever in my life. So that's another one.
I have a weird thing where, like, I know everybody's full name in Titanic. Literally, I will refer to them as Caledon Hockley, Rose DeWitt Decatur, Jack Dawson, Thomas Andrews, Bruce Ismay. So yes, I did know that it's Brock Lovett.
I don't know if I've got any others. I think we covered them all pretty much. But yeah, it's just, I love this film so much, and I think despite the cheesiness, it just manages to like overcome it all perfectly for me.
Sure does. Becky?
There's two final things that I wanted to mention that haven't been mentioned. That one is when they're doing a shot of, like a bird's eye view of the shot of her on the door. She's still wearing her heels.
Good on her.
Everything. She's still wearing her heels. I'm like, you've like swum around. How did they not fall off? You've been like running up.
Not fall out of the coat?
Like, indeed.
She
like climbed on top of the like the back of the boat. How was she still wearing heels? Even when she like got dragged under, surely the heels would come off. There weren't straps. I don't know. I just thought the logistics of it.
Got strong feet. It's established. It's got very strong feet.
Oh, there you go. Set up, pay off.
And the final thing was just that I think the whistle at the end is like the perfect touch. I know some people will disagree, but like it could have just been her being like, come back, and them coming back. But it's the whistle and the kind of frantic like, and she like tries to do it but can't get it. Just like it's perfectly thought out, perfectly executed, beautiful moment.
I also love that.
Has anyone? Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Oh, no, you should.
I was just going to say, has anyone seen the film, the Hugh Jackman film? I want to say it's called Prisoner. And
Prisoners.
With a
yes.
Prisoners with the whistle at the end, and it gave me major flashbacks to that.
Alice, Prisoners will be coming soon. We'll have to get you on for Prisoners.
Oh God.
Good movie, great movie even. Yes, also I also love little touches that the what do you call it? The is there anybody out there? Is muffled, which would be if your ears were bloody frozen with tetanus or whatever, horrific shit she's going through. Will, any final thoughts on Titanic?
It's just a great example of how obsessed Cameron gets with his projects.
Yeah.
He's he's still
making Avatar.
Morning Avatar. he's still not over it.
There's a great tweet, which I can't take credit for, about how James Cameron making Avatar movies is like Judd Nelson getting detentions in Breakfast Club, where he's like, okay, next Saturday then. Yeah, sure. How about another? And he keeps going. And it's like, somebody once said that Avatar wasn't great. And he's like, here's 5. Yes, that's very exciting. But you can't bet against him. Everybody said Avatar were going to be shit. Everybody said Titanic was going to be shit. True Lies before that was going to be a bomb. The man, you cannot bet against James Cameron. The man makes these obscenely expensive, ridiculous movies, and they always pay off. I think there is no better way to end this episode than to obviously thank our guests. Thank you very much, girls, for coming on.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. And we will now cut to the worst deleted scene of all time, where Molly Brown says, how about some ice in this drink? And the iceberg goes past her in the background.
Hey, Sonny, how about a little ice?
Yes, ma'am, I'll bring it.
Da ba da ba da ba da da.